up in Maine, like we stayed at we also extended our trip by like a day and a half because we couldn't come home. And I was like, the only thing that was available was like a hotel that we basically have no business checking into. Like it was luxury. And here we come with like our fucking Walmart bags full of chips and Doritos and like sleeping bags. And like, I'm like, we're here. And so we immediately go to the pool and the boys run in and they're doing like back flips and like triple Salchow Lutzes like off the end of the pool. Like they're just like flipping and loving it and having a blast and rating their dives and then making me rate their dives in public, like honest opinion. And people probably think like, what mom gives their kid a 2? But I'm like, well, you didn't point your feet and you wanted my honest opinion. So it's a 2 out of 10. But there was this couple that was there and the guy looked at me and they were kind of younger. And the guy goes, can you see that jacuzzi? Like those people have been in there for like 2 hours and like, we want to get in. Is it still crowded? And by the way, it was like 60 degrees up there in Maine. It was like a little chillier. So the hot tub was like a valued space, but this party was there and they were just like, and they were adults and they were just taking over. And this guy wasn't having it. And he's like, I don't like, I want to squeeze in there, but then it's weird. And I'm like, you know what? Let's send these 2 turkeys in there. So he's like, let's do it. So I was like, kids, go get in the hot tub. Just find your way in there. He's like, clear it, do it.
I love all of your travel stories. That awful hotel by accident.
the door handle that didn't lock and like the roaches everywhere and like the hallways with people, doing like heavy drugs.
I like that you flipped it and you got the best version of a hotel. I think that's well deserved.
I will say that I hate leaving reviews online, but like as a parent, I feel like part of my like vacationing in Maine, flying by the seat of our pants and not having plans was based off of like, well, what's the TikTok review on this guy, And a lot of them were like millennials being like, well, this is where we brunched and this is where we ate dinner and this is where we ate lunch. Like, my feeling was like, if I could make a TikTok video about like, as a parent, this place is a 5-star hotel, but it has free laundry. This place is a 3-star hotel and the pool's heated, like things that I feel like, online presence and leaving reviews, I think are important as long as you're not trying to sink the company, but just getting really honest and saying like, as a parent, this is what was helpful for us. It has a sidewalk around it if you're walking, like that kind of thing that you don't really think about when you're running solo. You have different needs. But as a parent, 2 double beds that the kids are going to jump on back and forth relentlessly, check, we're in. Check us in, we're there.
It's so true.
I love it. Yeah. Reviews are what I live by for travel. They're super important.
Do you leave reviews?
I don't leave reviews. I feel like maybe I should though, because I've had some really bad stays. And when we did our road trip, that was an amazing journey. And we used all those reviews, but I didn't give back by giving reviews.
That's like our pay it forward.
It is. It really is. I think that's a great idea, Shelly. Yeah. ChatGPT was a friend pointed out to me too. I said, I spent all this time and I've sketched it out. I'm like, if you ever want to go do this, I'm like, I've got like all the different hotels and in a Google document. She goes, if you just type into ChatGPT, give me a plan from this place to this place, provide me with a coffee shop, provide me with a place to stay that's 5 stars, provide me with a place to stay that's 4 stars, but also very clean. Really good details.
It's so funny how we can have ChatGPT be our travel guide. I remember when I was a kid traveling with my mom from Canada all the way down to Los Angeles for like a dance competition we had been invited to. And I remember it was so fun for me at the time helping her plan the trip. I was like 12 years old. But we had to have maps, like big maps. And we would draw a line and figure out how much time it would take from point A to point B and then there. And then I think hotels, we used to have to go to like a travel agency and get like brochures and stuff. I think I remember looking at different hotels through that or through travel books and really that way. I know my mom had a few experiences with us where we checked into some pretty sketchy hotels and she would like wake us up at 3 a.m. and be like, okay, we're leaving. And we would just get into the car and drive because she was like, I do not feel safe here. So we had our adventures.
Oh, you remember the day of like not being able to book in advance and you would just drive to the town and check the vacancy signs and go.
Yes, that's what no vacancy signs. That's what all those signs were originally for a real purpose of people who are driving through. I mean, now I guess they still use them, but yeah.
But you're like booking.com already told me you don't have any.
Yeah.
Shut up.
With all of my tours as a dancer, I mean, I've stayed in, thousands of hotels, and some really like, ooh, and some really beautiful. And so, I mean, I have the whole gamut. However, as I got older in life, my taste got a little bit better. And with traveling through work, I'm usually provided very nice hotels. So when my children started traveling with me, they would be at these beautiful 5-star hotels with these massive rooms. And, that's just what they were used to. And so since then, there's been a couple of times where we've had to like book, like, I don't know, like a Sheraton or a Marriott. And that's not even a bad hotel. But I remember them walking into the room and it was just like an average hotel, like double 2-bed room. And they walked in and they were like, oh. It's so small. Like, I was like, oh my God, you guys don't realize how privileged you are. Every day we go outside and it's California and we're driving to the beach and I'm like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. And they're like, they have no idea.
Right.
No, if that's, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but who knows? I guess we'll just figure it out. I'll try and keep them humble in other ways.
Yeah, I think it's good.
What functions for your need versus Yeah, it's like the car rides when they're bored in the car and they talk about how they're bored in the car, which is crazy because it's like our boredom lasted 12 hours. Theirs might last 30 minutes while they recharge their device.
I took your advice on that, Shelly. So I don't let the kids use their devices or be on their phones in the car. And I spoke to my ex about that as well. And he's on board because I think you're absolutely right. Like, first of all, it's our bonding time. That's when we talk. We talk so much because, once we get home, there's things going on and we kind of do our own thing, but we really connect. And that's my really special time connecting with my girls is like after school and to their lessons. And we do spend a lot of time in the car. So not having the device makes them more present with me and we have conversations. But I love that. So thank you for that, Shelly. It's also Jamie Denbo with our interview with Jamie. I loved it that she talked about that's her time to connect with her teenagers,
Yes.
Get off your phone and we're going to play Would You Rather. And she's like, and they're like, but it gets them off their phone and it connects her with them for she's like, maybe it lasted 30 minutes, maybe not even, but I love that.
I agree. Super inspired by the Jamie Denbo. In the mornings, for like 6 months, we just did Would You Rather? Because I hadn't thought about what to do to stimulate the conversations, right?
Yeah.
And so we would sometimes sit in silence or I just, like, what are you excited for today? And all my questions are always the same. But then the Would You Rather really spiced it up.
Yeah, I love that.
Especially with teens or preteens, where the talking sort of doesn't become as frequent in times together like that, where, it's like, how do you initiate the conversation? Maybe you initiate it by not talking about the thing that you want to talk about, like how therapists use like card games to when they're discussing things with kids, that's the icebreaker. I love that episode. And I love all those things she said too.
All the episodes. My gosh. Sometimes I just listen to them over and over in the car. It's like so inspiring, right? I'm just so grateful. Jessica, do you have any funny stories?
I was like, I'm just not funny. I just don't have anything funny. I'm so unfunny. And then I realized, no, we had our first sleepover on Friday night at our house. And there were 6 boys, aged 10. Everybody was very excited. And they stayed up, watched it. So Ken and I stayed up alternating and sometimes a little bit together. We sat behind the couch. We basically blew up a bunch of air mattresses in the living room. It was really funny to watch the movie with them. I personally watched it with Ken I had my face behind a pillow. I was so scared. And then I just watched it with the kids, with the 6 boys, and I felt so like, okay. And they were all doing commentary all through the movie. talking about what was happening and saying who was the best character and whether Pennywise was scary or not. And, when he was scary and when you see his real face, and the way that they were deconstructing it made it really easy for me to watch it. Again, and I was like, this is sort of the best viewings of a horror film for me, because I got to watch the visuals, but I could watch the whole movie with the 6 boys and Ken and me, and there was like lights on, and
I love that. Oh my gosh. How are you emotionally? Because that's a big night.
They went to bed at 11:40. I put soothing music on for them till midnight, and then they kept chatting when I was giving them, like, I did a meditation for them. I'm like, you are by the ocean. I'm like, you can see the dolphins. And then one boy's like, goes, I went to the ocean the other day and I saw dolphins. I was like, one of the other kids was like, great story. And then they all laughed and they were laughing and laughing and laughing. I left on the transcendental meditation music, went to bed. They woke up at 6:40 a.m. So midnight to 6:40. I thought that was pretty good.
Very good. Oh my gosh, for a sleepover?
For a sleepover, right? At 11 a.m., I'm like, I could do this again. You want to watch it part 2? Let's do it next weekend or the 2 weekends from now. And then as the day went on, I was like, no, I'm just really tired.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do that. Honestly, I love having sleepovers because I just let the kids be in the room. Summer and her friends, they stay up till like 4 or 5 in the morning sometimes. They just like stay, and then they're passed out, like 4 of them on the bed when I come in, and often they'll sleep till 10, 11. But I like it because I just leave them. I don't know, am I a bad mom? You guys stay in there, I'm going to have some personal time.
No, you're not a bad mom at all. Like, I could never leave my kids because they would, what they would do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you put a bunch of boys, and maybe it is very stereotypical. And I don't know if all boys are like this. And this is a very responsible group of boys. But I had this fear of them. What if, and I know they're responsible, but they're 10.
Right.
They're creative. They're just like very creative. I'd rather than be creative where I can hear the crash, maybe. I'm glad they chose a 3-day weekend because.
Yeah. Yeah, because Saturday night into Monday is like a whole different thing. It's like, when we used to go out and party. Like, you can't, like, you guys, Thursday night was such a better party night because you would have so much time, although we were younger and probably didn't have to recover as long. I'm talking more probably for the 50-year-olds out there. I wouldn't know. I don't know. I don't party, but my ability to withstand any horror stops at like anything that causes anxiety, any of those movies. I can't watch anything. I feel like I'm such a wimp, but I think I'm Brian, my husband's always like, the only thing you're comfortable with is Shark Tank. Like, come on.
Creative Mamas Unplugged is produced by Breatheasy Productions. If you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to give my mama 5 stars and keep coming back. Thanks to us kids, there are plenty of stories to tell, and you are not alone.
We are inspired by you. Thank you for joining our Creative Mamas community. Please give us a 5-star rating, leave a comment, support Creative Mamas Unplugged on Patreon to get your name in the credits, receive extra content, and earn some fun prizes. With this, we can keep creating, uplifting, and growing this incredible community together. We love you so much. Applause!